Hello everyone, warm welcome to Business Live. Coming up, government optimistic of securing financing assurance from Paris Club at its next meeting to aid an IMF board approval as President Akufo-Addo expresses optimism of government helping turn around the economy.
We are assured that the next round of meetings of the Paris Club will result in the formation of an official creditor committee, inclusive of China, and the provision of financing assurance.
But the Trade Union Congress insists securing an IMF deal is not the answer to the current challenges facing the economy.
Of engagements with the IMF provides ample evidence that IMF-sponsored programs and policies cannot change our economic circumstances.
We will hear more from its Secretary General, Dr. Eurobond, plus prepare to pay more on alcoholic beverages, mineral water, and processed food uses as three key tax measures takes off from today. We have details of these and many others coming your way shortly. Please stay. Pleasure, you could stay on. I am Pious to our very first story. President Akufo-Addo has given the firm a guarantee of Ghana securing financing assurance from the Paris Club at its next meeting. Well, this, the president says, could be crucial in helping Ghana secure an IMF board approval. I was speaking at the parade to mark Workers' Day in Bogatanga in the Upper East region earlier today. President Akufo-Addo expressed optimism that the IMF program will help fast-track the recovery of the economy.
The Bank of Ghana and the regulators in the financial sector space have provided some regulatory reliefs to support affected institutions. In keeping with our common objective, government through the Financial Stability Council will monitor continuously the impact of the domestic debt exchange program on financial institutions to enable it to take remedial action if and when necessary. This will ensure that measures put in place to safeguard incomes, deposits, pensions, investor funds, and assets are effective. After achieving a staff-level agreement with the IMF in December 2022 in record time, 6 months after beginning the negotiations in July 2022, we've continued to work tirelessly to complete all prior actions required to present Ghana's program to the IMF Executive Board for approval. We've also made substantial progress on the debt exchange program, as well as on our engagements with bilateral creditors to secure financing assurance required for the IMF program. We are assured that the next round of meetings of the Paris Club will result in the formation of an official creditor committee, inclusive of China, and the provision of financing assurances. The IMF and the World Bank have been very supportive in this journey. With the progress made so far, we expect the IMF board to consider Ghana's program for imminent approval after the financing assurances are provided.
But speaking of the same program, the Trade Union Congress registered its opposition to the IMF program, insisting it is not the answer to current economic challenges facing the economy. Dr. Eurobond is Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress.
COVID-19 and the war in Ukraine have only exposed the weakness of our economy and the economic policy framework that has guided economic management in Ghana in the last 40 years. The reason Ghana has had to seek IMF support almost every 3 years is largely due to the flaws in the way our economy has been managed based on the neoliberal free market ideology. We would like to reiterate our well-known position that the IMF program can never take us out of this crisis. Our history of engagements with the IMF provides ample evidence that IMF-sponsored programs and policies cannot change our economic circumstances. Another IMF program will only impose more economic burden on us. We have to change the situation ourselves as Ghanaians. We believe strongly that government can lead us out of this crisis. And the government can do so by cutting expenditure on non-essentials, including the need to stop spending our hard-earned revenue on a national cathedral. In fact, comrades, it will be better to convert the project into a national hospital.
Away from May Day celebration, Eurobond holders are likely to get about 50% haircut of their investments. That's the projection by London-based Economist Intelligence Unit. George Yaffe reports.
The Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU, in its report noted that this wouldn't come easy for government, as some of these bondholders are likely to reject the offer. The EIU noted that it expects the deal to restructure the Eurobond debt to be reached by the end of this year or going into next year, which will include the Paris Club and all the private creditors. On the IMF program, the EIU is warning that Ghana's program approval could delay as a result of challenges in dealing with the concerns of some of the creditors. The unit is projecting that Ghana may get the executive board approval by the middle of this year. It was, however, optimistic that the program will help fast-track the stability of the economy, but maintained that conditions attached to this program could come with some challenges for the economy. On the Ghana city, the Economist Intelligence Unit noted that it could come under some pressure in the coming months, despite the marginal stability recorded in the first quarter of this year. It noted that the monetary policy rate will be increased again in the coming months as the Bank of Ghana takes steps to contain the rising inflation rate.
Now, prepare to pay more on alcoholic consumed cigarettes, processed fruit juices, mineral water, as well as winnings on your sports bets. This is because the 3 revised taxes are taken off from today. There is more in this report.
The 3 revised taxes that has been passed by Parliament, as well as the President giving his assent at the Excise Amendment Act 2023, Income Tax Amendment Act of 2023, and the controversial Growth and Sustainability Levy. The Ghana Revenue Authority, in a circular issued today, noted that it has set May 1, 2023 as the deadline for implementing these taxes because it believes that businesses have had ample time to configure their systems since the law was passed by Parliament. Well, when it comes to the Excise Amendment Act, that will result to the price of some processed fruit juice, energy drink, imported beer is expected to be going up as this tax will seek to place fresh levies on these products. Alcoholic beverage will not be spared as the taxes paid on these products have also been increased. Mineral water is also expected to go up as this review is also expected to affect some of these products on the market. Cigarettes and electronic cigarettes will also not be spared. The Ghana Union of Traders Association has indicated that it will not hesitate to pass on the cost of these products as it might be difficult to absorb it going forward. When it comes to the income end, any amount below 500 Ghana cedis should be tax-free. However, an extra 100 Ghana cedis will attract a tax rate of 5%. Additional 100 Ghana cedis will attract a rate of 10%. Based on the schedule seen by Joy Business, the more one earns, the more one should be paying in terms of the taxes to the state. Well, for banks, non-bank financial institutions, telecom companies, and firms working in the oil sector will pay 5% of their profit before tax to the state. Mining firms, oil and gas companies are expected to pay 1% of gross production, while all other firms will pay 2.5% of their profit before tax to the Ghana Revenue Authority. This is because the Growth and Sustainability Levy is also going to be implemented from May 1, 2023.
Meanwhile, some importers and businesses have indicated that they will have no option than to pass on the costs to consumers. John Awuni is the council member of the Food and Beverages Association.
We are aware, the government is aware about the effect of whatever they are doing, but we want to give them a synopsis or a brief on the effect of their policy from 2017 to today on pricing in the country, where most goods like a bag of rice was 150 cedis. Today we are dealing with 600 cedis. Sugar was about same thing. Today we are dealing with about 585 cedis per bag. You can talk about anything. Bread was like 5 cedis. Today we are dealing with bread of 20 cedis. Eggs, a crate of eggs was like 50 cedis. We are dealing with about 50 cedis per egg. A carton of chicken was like 40 cedis. Today we are dealing with about 350 cedis. We want to come up with a paper, and we are putting that together. In the next couple of days, we intend to engage government to look at this. Because we are supposed to be partners in development, and you can't come out with these things, and we are crying, and nobody, it appears to be like it's a state capture. We have captured the state, we will do whatever we want. You can say what you want to do, but we will also do what we want to do. And you are in the affairs of the state, in the interest of the private sector, in the interest of individuals, in the interest of households. You cannot do things say that you want to please yourself at the detriment of the people. If you want to survive a revived economy, how have you explained to us where we are, aside the blame of Ukraine and then whatever not? Are we the only people who Ukraine and then whatever COVID has affected? Will reflect immediately as we engage the government. Cost will reflect immediately because nobody is going to bear that cost. And what I'm saying is it's going to have a cascading effect. It's going to have complete multiplier effect because as the cost already, demand is very low in the market. Now, no business owner is capable of eroding his capital by bearing these taxes. So the growth and sustainability tax that players in industry will pay 2.5%, and it's supposed to be passed to the consumer. Let the consumer bring the money, and then we will give it to the government.
Now, more than 5 million SIM cards have been deactivated on the MTN network. This move is in line with a directive from the regulator, that's the National Communications Authority, that persons that have not fully completed their registration process should be removed from the network. There is more in this report. MTN, in its financial statement ending the first quarter of this year, noted that in November last year, it was forced to deactivate 5.7 million subscribers. However, in April 2023, this number was reduced by almost 2 million. This was after the SIMs that were impacted completed the necessary biometric capture, leaving almost 4 million subscribers disconnected SIM cards. MTN further explained that it has gone ahead to deactivate these cards from its database in line with a directive from the National Communications Authority. The telecom operator maintained that it remains committed to this national SIM re-registration exercise and will continue to deploy resources to work with the regulator to accelerate SIM re-registration for all subscribers. However, for some analysts, there are concerns about the cost of this exercise to the telecom operator, as they will be losing out in terms of the needed revenue from these subscribers. But for some, with news that some of these registrations were carried out through fraudulent means, one is not sure whether there could be another regulatory directive for these subscribers to be deactivated. MTN, in its financial statement, puts the total number of subscribers ending the first quarter of this year at 27.4 million. Some other stories. Now, the Bank of Ghana says it's on course with the training of all 23 banks in the country on the environmental sustainable development governance principles to ensure safe and sound financial system, according to the Deputy Director, Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Ismail Adam. So far, the compliance rate on Principle 1 is about 53%, which is commendable. Now, speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Adam expressed optimism that it will continue with Principle 2 by the end of the year.
We've trained them on Principle 1. We are hoping to train them on Principle 2 by the end of this year. And so far, the reporting has been given that we've trained them only on Principle 1 and hoping to end the training on Principle 2 this year with a compliance rate of 53%. We think they are doing well. And so we are hoping that going forward, the outlook is to train them on all the principles and get them to report on all the principles, and hoping to achieve 100% compliance when they are training on all the 7 principles. And so that is where we are as far as the sustainable banking is concerned. This was something that was not done by BOG alone. They are part of it. Normally when you have an institution being part of a process, it's easier convincing them to go by what they themselves were part in coming up with. And so I don't think we have much difficulty, given that the banks themselves were involved. And as a matter of fact, when it was launched somewhere in 2019, all the 23 CEOs of banks signed on to the principles. And so it's not something that is going to be difficult at all. They themselves understand the benefits that we know to them by signing on.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, because the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, through the Ghana Tourism Development Company, has held a tourism training for commercial drivers in Kumasi. The program is to conscientize stakeholders in the transport sector on their role in promoting travel and tourism in the country. There is more in this report.
Transport service providers have been identified as a major stakeholder on the tourism value chain. Commercial and ride-hailing app drivers are considered as the frontliners who meet tourists when they arrive in the country. But many lack the skills and knowledge to tout exciting attractions of the country to foreigners. Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mr. Okrekumante, believes training in communication skills for drivers could promote Ghana's tourism.
We came here today to build the capacity of the people in the transportation fraternity or community, precisely taxi, digital transport operators, and then all the other stakeholders in transportation. We acknowledge that they do a lot, or they add a lot to how to get results in tourism. We all know sometimes some of them are not even well groomed. They do not even understand the customer. They do not even know that they owe Ghana a duty to say good things about Ghana, to influence that particular customer who will go as an ambassador to say good things about Ghana for a repeat purchase from another customer. And we all know that word of mouth is the most powerful promotion. And so if people go back and they don't say good things about your country, there's trouble. And so today we are here to build their capacity.
The Deputy Sector Minister hopes the initiative will be continued by successive governments.
We expect that those who are going to get the training from today will transfer to others who are not here. That's why especially we have the leadership here. It will not stop, it will continue. We hope that it will become a culture where almost every government will take this seriously, because as a country, as a government, we've decided that we want to make tourism the #1 contributor to our GDP, and this is very necessary to what we're looking for.
The exercise is expected to be replicated in various parts of the country, targeting 3,000 drivers for the first phase. Some beneficiary drivers say the training would attract them to more customers, but anticipate sustainability of the program. The training would help us know more on how to interact with foreigners, and that would bring us more income. The taxi business isn't lucrative anymore. This would show up our income. For Joy News, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reporting.
And here in the studios of Joy, I am Pious Kujubaka. More after this break. And we continue with the rest of our stories. And Ghana is one of the countries most affected by malaria, with over 5 million reported annually. Now, in the Obuasi municipality of the Ashanti region, malaria tops the list of OPD diseases. However, the indoor residual spraying program by Anglo Gold Ashanti has eradicated about 70% of malaria in the area. There is more in this report.
As part of the 2023 World Malaria Day celebration, Anglo Gold Ashanti has called on organizations to collaborate with the mind to accelerate the progress of achieving the theme of this year's celebration. Edmond Odru Ejay, stakeholder superintendent at Anglo Gold Ashanti, pledged continuous support to fight and totally eradicate malaria from the district.
What a year records before program made by Nototon Nurse or Edward so 70% there, Yetimi Ako Etia. Now, yes, all other partners. Now, institution.
We have made some progress in curtailing malaria in the district. We call on other organizations to collaborate with the mind to fight malaria.
Also, say yes, other supporting organizations. So, I'm also making now, Yetimi and Trey.
Though efforts have been made to eliminate the disease, the Health Directorate says it is faced with the non-adherence to treated bed nets. Eric Etuani Ajiman is the District Director of Health at Danson North.
Because adherence to the use of bed nets sometimes becomes problematic. Bed nets have been given to you, the populace, just to hang it up and sleep in it. Yes, so people don't want to actually use the bed net. Again, when they visit the facilities and they are given treatment, adherence to treatment for the adult tablets or for general population is about 3 days. But once the person takes the first dose and the second dose and he becomes all right, he will not continue. Then the reoccurrence or still some parasite will be found in their bloodstream.
The District Chief Executive for Adansi North appealed to the Anglo-Gold Ashanti to reintroduce the anti-malaria spraying exercise in the district to help rid mosquitoes. Eric Kwekukusi spoke at the commemoration of the 2023 World Malaria Day held at Ayase.
With the confirmation of the presence of a deadly new breed mosquito in the country known as Anopheles stephensi, I would like to make a passionate appeal to Anglo-Gold Ashanti Ghana to reintroduce the anti-malaria spraying exercise in the district to help rid mosquitoes out of the district.
This year's World Malaria Day is under the theme Time to Deliver Zero Malaria. Invest, Innovate, Implement. Anglo-Gold Ashanti donated treated nets and mosquito repellents to some senior high schools in the district. For Joy News, Nana Boachidankwa reporting.
Now, stakeholders within the information technology space have been entreated to invest into the incredible works of young innovators who are tackling the gender digital divide in their communities. According to the Chief Human Resource at the Genocides, Angel Wale Adeyemi, this is necessary to encourage young girls in ICT to be more creative and contribute their quota to national development. She spoke to Joy Business at a girls' ICT sensitization program organized by the Azubi Africa tribe.
At the sensitization program, Wale Adeyemi said this push will create a global environment that empowers and encourages girls and young women to consider careers in the growing field of ICTs, enabling both girls and technology companies to reap the benefit of greater female participation in the ICT sector.
Okay, as an organization with the mission to upskill young talents in Africa and enable them to get jobs not just in Africa but across, the world, we realize that it is really important to sensitize the young ones, especially from this stage. Now, we recently celebrated the Girls in ICT to inform these young girls that you can actually get into tech and you don't actually have to be scared of mathematics, science, or engineering courses. We saw that in the schools that we visited, and now there's this excitement from the girls knowing that, oh, math isn't that terrible. And because we also have staff members who were able to come up as mentors. If I can, you too also can break into tech.
Director at the Career Center at Azubi Africa, Gideon Saki called for more investment in ICT to boost the space.
Needed to go to the root of the problem. Now, it means that where are these people coming from? When we go to our junior high schools, when we go to our senior high schools, are they being sensitized enough to now venture into these programs? Most people would have made up their minds by the time they are in tertiary of what kind of job or profession they want to engage in. So when we are able to come into the junior high schools, the senior high schools, we are able to better sensitize them for the future.
On her part, founder of EYA Africa, Dr. Esther Bozo, said these young girls should be exposed to ICT at an early stage to aid in their career path.
What we are already doing for the students, we are doing something entrepreneurship. And so there's an opportunity for the students to also be exposed to the technology industry and be able to know about the prospective careers that they could actually venture into in the technology industry. So at the end of the day, the goal is to ensure that the young girls that we have here today have wide knowledge about ICT.
And that's all in this package by way of Business Life. I am Pious Kojo Baka. You can always get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Do enjoy the rest of our programs and enjoy your holiday.